A lot of African countries have established legal minimums for various classes of game, and most commonly for the dangerous game. And hey, in countries where there is a legal minimum, you can expect that the hippo will always be considered dangerous game. The crocodile often isn't, and there's probably a reason for that. If in doubt, ask your professional hunter. Although we often state that the 375 is the legal minimum, this isn't always true. In several countries, the actual minimum is the European equivalent, which is 9.3 millimeter or 366 caliber. Some countries don't have established legal minimum standards, and in some countries the rules vary. Zimbabwe uniquely has a minimum energy standard, which includes the 9.3 by 62 millimeter Mauser, but this is only applicable on government land and not on private land. Use of handguns and archery tackle is more restrictive, specifically illegal in many areas but allowed in some. Whether one prefers the European 9.3 millimeter or the more common 375, or a larger and more powerful cartridge, or a big handgun or archery tackle, keep in mind that whether enacted into law or not, minimum standards exist because of conventional wisdom developed over time and based on experience, which can be good or bad. Regardless of law or convention, a 9.3 millimeter or 375 is a sensible minimum for hippo and also a pretty good choice for crocodile. If you want to deviate from that and local law allows it, you need to discuss that with your professional hunter and make sure that either he or she is on board with it and has some experience using alternate gear such as archery gear, handguns, muzzleloaders, whatever. In some areas you can do that legally, but you need to discuss that with your PH up front so that they're absolutely prepared for it. Although the target is small, the crocodile's skull is actually quite fragile, so it's really more a matter of precision than raw power. If the brain is missed by even a narrow margin, follow-up shots become extremely important. Since a crocodile is a very large animal, this requires both power and penetration. Smaller cartridges can be used, but the better choices are probably 9.3 millimeters and 375s. As stated, the shot on the crocodile has to be one of the most precise in the entire hunting world. But since it's absolutely essential to anchor the crocodile and keep it from getting into the water, follow-up shots are normal. Combining accuracy with rapid additional shots, a bolt-action repeater is probably the best choice, but a double rifle can be used, provided it's mounted with a scope. Single shots are not recommended because of the necessity for rapid follow-up, and other repeating actions are not factory chambered to adequate cartridges, although custom work is possible. Expanding bullets are essential. For the brain shot, bullet construction isn't important, but the spine shot and follow-up shoulder shots require much more penetration. Choose tough expanding bullets that will provide adequate penetration on the largest crocodile. The shot at a crocodile will almost always be less than 100 yards, but the precision required is absolutely extreme. It's a very, very precise shot. Typically, a 9.3 millimeter or a 375 is mounted with a dangerous game scope of 1 to 4x or maybe 1.5 to 6x, and hey, that'll work, but if you're hunting crocodile, consider mounting a scope with a bit more magnification, 2 to 7x or 3 to 9x, and that's going to make that very precise shot a whole lot easier. As with the crocodile, the skull of a hippo is extremely fragile, so cartridges from .30 caliber up can be used for brain shots, but you can't know for sure that you're actually going to get a brain shot, so you really need to start with a more powerful cartridge. Again, the 9.3 millimeter and 375s are a good minimum, but hippo is a very, very large creature, and there's no such thing as too much power for a hippo. Combining accuracy for the brain shot and power and penetration for the body shot, the most ideal choices for hippo are probably the lower 40s, cartridges like the 404 Jeffrey and the several 416s. A bolt-action repeater is probably the most common choice for the visiting hunter. There are numerous options in various price ranges chambered to suitable cartridges. But if a bolt action is chosen, its user must make certain all aspects of feeding and functioning are totally reliable. And in practice sessions, one should concentrate on learning to work the bolt quickly for follow-up shots. The double-barreled rifle can be used and has adequate accuracy, plus that instant availability of a second shot. But doubles are often limited by sighting equipment. If a double is chosen, it absolutely has to be mounted with a scope so you have the precision to make the brain shot if that's the shot that's offered. Several modern single shots are chambered in suitable cartridges for hippo. Because of the frequent requirement for a fast second shot, single shots are not recommended for hippo hunting, but can be used with the understanding that the visiting hunter will not be alone and may have to rely on the PH for necessary backup. No other action type, whether semi-auto, lever, or slide action, have been factory chambered for adequate cartridges for hippo. Custom work's possible, but it's very unusual. Because the hippo's skull is fragile, expanding bullets could be used for brain shots only. The problem is that you never really know if you're going to get the brain shot or not, and with body shots, you absolutely have to use non-expanding solid bullets. You're asking for a lot of penetration. Hippo is really like a great big bullet sponge. They're very hard to put down. You need a lot of penetration. So for hippo, you really need to choose solid bullets that won't expand but will penetrate. The two primary choices today are the homogeneous alloy or all copper bullet, the solid, and then the traditional jacketed bullet that has a lead core, but it's jacketed with a coating of mild steel, what we call steel jacketed solids. Hey, both are extremely good. There really aren't any bad solids on the market today. It's obviously a very small market, and these are bullets that you trust your life to, and really all the solids on the market today are very good. You should use the one that gives you the most confidence. The only limitation is that the homogeneous alloy bullets have a slightly different pressure curve. May not be a good idea to use them in older double rifles with thin barrel walls, but again, it's just a matter of confidence. If you knew you were going to encounter your hippo on dry land, then the shot's going to be fairly close and open sights are going to work just fine. But in most circumstances, you can't know this, and if the hippo is taken in water, which is fairly common and may be essential, then the brain shot is the only shot you have, and that's also a very, very precise shot. So for most hippo hunting, a telescopic sight is almost essential. Low-range variables from 1 to 4x to maybe 1.5 to 6x are adequate for hippo hunting. They'll provide enough magnification for that precise brain shot, and they can be turned down if the hippo is stalked on dry land. Lighted reticles greatly speed aiming and assist in precise shot placement. Dust is a major issue in Africa, so bring scope covers and keep them on your rifle while the rifle's in the vehicle. Take them off when you commence a stalk. As always, soft gun cases will help protect the rifle while you're traveling in the vehicle. You're going to do a lot of that in Africa.